Hello everybody and welcome. This is Tearless here, back inside Netherlight Temple, bringing you another class specialization overview. This time we will be looking at Holy Priests. I have to admit, I was expecting this class to kind of stay close to how it originally was, and I was pleasantly surprised as I was doing the write-up for this specialization on just the little things here and there that have changed for the class. I will say for the most part, I think Holy Priest still plays very similar to the way it does on live. However, there are some abilities that are rather surprising that will be missing that you may not have expected to go missing from a Holy Priest. Especially with how many changes were coming the way of Disc. You were kind of expecting for Holy Priest to kind of absorb what Disc was losing in their effort to diversify the priest healing specs and make Disc kind of a damage to do healing type of healing play style. And I was expecting Holy to just absorb everything and just be this powerful healer in that way, and instead they also took some stuff off of Holy and changed some things around, which was interesting. So, in this video, this will be a two-video series. In the first video, I'm going to be going over what has changed to priest abilities, looking at their removed, changed, and new abilities for a Holy Priest. And then we will look at the artifact weapon. And then in the second video, we will look at the PvE and PvP talents for a Holy Priest. And I'll tell you there, at least in terms of PvE talents, most are new, with the exception of maybe, I think I can count them in one hand. There's about 5 talents that are still the same. Otherwise, most have changed. So they've done a good job of diversifying and changing things around. I will say that this Holy Priest spec still falls within the realm of the 1/3 of specs that I really feel did not change really too much at all. Still plays close to the same, but I was surprised with some of the changes that were coming through. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into the removed abilities for a Holy Priest. And the reason why I do removed, changed, and new, just as a refresher, is because I want you to see what you've lost, and then you'll see how things have changed, and then the new abilities that they have to fill the holes to fill out the playstyle of the spec. So, I will say before we get started, Holy Priest, I believe, is the only healing class that still has some resemblance of that triple healing system that Blizzard tried to implement at one point, where every healing class had 3 types of heals and so forth. They're the only one that has even the smallest resemblance of it, and it's noticed in the tooltips here. They actually brought it back into the tooltips. So you'll see when we look at the tooltip for like flash heal, say a fast but expensive heal. They actually took that out of the tooltips in the past few expansions, trying to go away from that methodology that they had a few expansions ago of everyone having 3 types of heals. And they brought that back just a little bit, but for the most part, that is completely a dead type of healing style now, and the Holy Priest is the very, very, very last remnants of it. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at removed abilities. This is the first one that really surprised me, and that is Binding Heal is now removed. This was removed from Disc. It made sense, but to be removed from Holy Priest, it really didn't make much sense. Now, if you really like this ability, do not worry, it is still back as a talent, so you can talent into it if you want. However, it is gone from baseline Holy Priest. The big thing, chakras. All chakras have been removed. All of the chakras have been completely taken out, and this goes with the effect of Blizzard wanting to get rid of any type of stances in the game. Chakras, presences, aspects, stances, both warrior and monks. Everything that was a stance of some sort just has been completely removed. And so chakras were one of those, and they got rid of them. There was no reason for them to be in the game anymore. So Chakra Chastise, Chakra Sanctuary, Chakra Serenity, all of them have been removed. Another ability that really surprised me when it was removed, is Circle of Healing. Circle of Healing has been a part of a Holy Priest for I don't know how long. I think it was introduced as the 40-point talent in Burning Crusade. I could be wrong, but it's been there a long time, guys, and I'm just really shocked to see it go. It is still a talent, so very much like Binding Heal, you can still talent back into it, but it's gone. Fear Ward has been removed from the game. This is something that's been removed, I believe, across from all priests. Let me double check Shadow and make sure that I can be 100% accurate from that. And yes, it is gone from Shadow as well. So, Fear Ward has been removed. Lightwell, another ability that had become a staple of Holy Priests. I think this was the 50-point talent that was added in Wrath. Once again, I could be off on my numbers here, but Lightwell has been around for a while, and once again, Lightwell is gone as well, and it doesn't even come back as a talent, so I'm not sure why they decided to get rid of it. I know that Lightwell was never really the most popular item. It wasn't very useful in PvP. PvE it has uses, but overall it was not necessarily the most popular talent, but Lightwell is now gone. Mind Seer has been taken out. It is now Shadow only. Mind Vision has actually been taken out. I know this will kind of upset some Holy players. It's more of a fun ability than anything, but Mind Vision is now only available to Discipline Priests and Shadow Priests, so it's been removed. Power Word Fortitude has been removed. However, I wouldn't worry too much about that because all the all of the straight stat buffs in the game, Blessing of Kings, etc., Mark of the Wild, they've all been removed from the game. So losing Power Word Fortitude does not really change anything. It just got to a point where every single class had its own buff, and there were so many overlapping because they were so worried about making sure that classes got into the raid, that any class got into the raid no matter what. Like you weren't bringing a certain class just for a certain, raid buff, that everyone had everything, and then by that point, like why even have the abilities anymore? So Power Word Fortitude has been removed. Big surprise here as well, Power Word Shield is gone. It is now Disc and Shadow only. That one's a surprising one as well. I know Power Word Shield was definitely more of a disc ability. It made more sense as a disc ability, but overall I always felt that Power Word Shield was a priest ability more than anything. So it's kind of surprising to see Power Word Shield go, but it is now Disc and Shadow only. Shadow Word Pain has been removed. Really shouldn't miss that too much. It is now Disc and Shadow only. If you're wondering why Disc seems to always also gets these as well, in case you have forgotten, in the Disc video, Disc is now a ideal damage to do healing. So they retained a lot of damaging abilities and so forth, and they retained Power Word Shield because, if anything, Power Word Shield was really true to what Disc played into. Shadow Fiend as well has been removed. Once again, Disc and Shadow as well. Still have it, but it has been lost to Holy. And then in terms of your some passive talents, Divine Providence has been removed, and Serendipity, has been removed. Do know that a lot of the passives have just been taken out, especially any of the passives that were just like, oh, you now get 15% increase to your multi-strike, which was one of those Divine Providence or Serendipity, I can't remember which one, because those were initially introduced really as like a handicap for people who can't do their own research or Google, to tell people like, hey, your favorite stat should be multi-strike, and there was really no point in that. So those types of little small buffs or small baseline passive raid buffs, those are all been removed from the game. So that's all the removed abilities for a Disc Priest. Decent amount. They have a large amount of changed abilities. First, let's go ahead and look at Divine Hymn. Divine Hymn still functions the way it does before, and it still has the wonderful sound effects and so forth. However, the biggest change with Divine Hymn is that the healing has now been increased by 100% if you are not in a raid. If you are not in a raid, it will no longer, it will heal for an extra 100%. So that's actually kind of a buff if you're in like a rated battleground setting, or actually I don't even know if you can use that in a rated battleground setting. I'm not sure because of the cooldown. I believe you can, but because it's only 3 minutes. But you know, if you're in if you're in maybe like a smaller BG or an arena or something, you know, you're able to use that by not being in a raid setting or a dungeon, for example. It's gonna have 100% more increase just based off of that. Guardian Spirit has its cooldown increased from 3 minutes to 4 minutes, so this is a big nerf here. I'm not quite sure why this was implemented. It may even be higher. I'm not sure, because 4 is not a number that they generally 4 is not a number that they generally go with. We'll find out when we look into the artifact tree to see if there's a talent that actually reduces it down to 4 minutes, but it has been increased from 3 to 4 minutes. Otherwise, all the other aspects of Guardian Spirit are still the same. Holy Fire now can, its dot can now stack 2 times in a row. This is kind of confusing. Basically, for me to explain this, we have to go into what is one of the new abilities, which is Holy Nova. It's not really a new ability, but it's now going to be Holy only. I'm going to go over here to the training dummies just so I illustrate what's going on here. So Holy Fire, you now have your damage and then you have your dot damage, and it says you can stack up to 2 times. However, looking at the new ability, which is Holy Nova, which is right here, causes damage around the target and has a 20% chance to reset the cooldown on Holy Fire if any targets are hit. So that's the only way you can actually get double stacking up to 2 times on Holy Fire, because Holy Fire only lasts 7 seconds and has a 10-second cooldown. So I'll use it on target, and then I have to get a proc off of I have to get a proc off of the Holy Nova to get the 2 stacks of Holy Fire rolling on the target. So that's one of the just kind of weird things there. I don't really know why they have dots can stack up to 2 times there. It kind of makes no sense, especially since you know, especially since you actually have to like get a proc from Holy Nova for it to actually work. But you know, that's the way they've changed it now, and I'm not sure why they did that, but that is the way it is now. Do you know that the bulk of the damage is now in the dot now instead of the up front? Still instant cast, but you have a large amount of damage coming through that dot, as opposed to the upfront damage. And it lasts for 7 seconds instead of 9, so there's a little bit reduction in how long it lasts. So it's actually going to do damage quicker. So this is more of a damage ability, and a lot of these changes in terms of the damage abilities that are coming out for priests are basically to make it so that priests have an easier time leveling. Blizzard has kind of come out with a report saying how they've tried to make it so that healers no longer have such a rough time leveling. Healers are able to level a little bit easier, and I think most of these changes are aimed towards that. And that's kind of gonna be their change, is that they put in these 2 things, like it stacks up to 2 times, and we'll look at Holy Nova more, and you'll see how that affects maybe your how you're going to level, etc. So just so you know, dot damage can now stack to 2 times. The bulk of the damage is now in the dot, and the dot now lasts 7 seconds instead of 9 seconds. That is the Holy Fire change. The next 3 are kind of big. While Chakra was removed across the board, and the really cool like kind of aura effect that was around you that is gone now, that's kind of disappointing. All of the holy words are now here, and they're all separate. So this is a great change, okay? And this is how holy is changing, okay? So originally holy kind of, you know, revolved around, you had your normal heal and your greater heal, or whatever they're named, flash heal and heal. And they had prayer healing, prayer of mending, and you had circle of healing and so forth. Now, instead, they're just giving you all of the chakra, all of the holy words together. So you have Holy Word Chastise, Holy Word Sanctuary, and Holy Word Serenity. All of them you can now use, and they all have their own separate cooldowns and so forth. They've all been changed pretty significantly. Starting with Holy Word Chastise, its cooldown has been increased from 30 seconds to 1 minute, but its duration has now been increased from 3 seconds all the way until 5 seconds. So I'll go ahead and use it right here. You now have a 5-second cooldown on that ability, and chastises the target for 145,000 damage, and it's a minute cooldown. 145,000 damage, just want to give you an idea how much that is. Holy Fire does 43,000 instant and then 80,000 afterwards. So it definitely does a chunk of damage. Smite only does 65,000 damage. So definitely Holy Word Chastise is got a lot more oomph behind it. Holy Word Serenity, the cooldown has been increased from 40 seconds to 50 seconds, so a small change there. It's now instant cast, up from a 0.5 second cast time, and it's now an instant heal as opposed to a ground targeted healing over time heal. So the worst part about this is the amazing spell visual that was once a part of this is now gone. Instead, Circle of Healing now is, it's now kind of taken the visual effect of Circle of Healing a little bit, and that is what is going to be the new Holy Word Sanctify. I believe it was called, maybe it was called Holy Word Sanctuary before. It's now called Holy Word Sanctify now. So, same icon and everything, however, they just mess around with the wording a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and use this here. Releases a miraculous light at the target location, healing up to 6 allies within 10 yards for 146,000. You're going to see, it's just an explosion. Looks somewhat like Circle of Healing. I'll go ahead and use it now. And you can see it's ground targeted, so I can use it wherever. I'll use it right in the middle of all these healing targets. And there you go. I'm not quite sure what this Naru is for. I believe we will find out when we get to the actual artifact tree, when we get to that at the end of this film. Once again, if you've forgotten, this film will cover the abilities and talents in the artifact weapon, and then the second film will cover the PvE talents and PvP talents. So, next ability that has changed is Holy Word Serenity. Its cooldown has been increased from 10 seconds to 1 minute, but it is now a huge heal, and the increased critical healing buff has been removed. So, it used to have this increased little critical healing effect for, you know, whoever was affected by this heal you would have better chance at critical heals on this target. That has been removed. Instead, it's just a really big heal. You perform a miracle, healing an ally for 48,000. To give you an idea, my health pool is at 1.4 million, so it's a third of my health bar. I'm going to go ahead and use it right here. You'll see right there, the old greater healing effect, and that it heals for a ton. So definitely a nice heal to have in your arsenal. However, it does have a long cooldown. However, I will say there is a wonderful change to an ability that kind of makes things better and a little bit more bearable to deal with in terms of the long cooldowns that now are with Holy Word Chastise, Holy Word Sanctuary, or Sanctify, excuse me, and Holy Word Serenity. Changes to Mass Dispel. Its cast time has been increased from around 0.5 seconds to 1.5 seconds, and its target cap has been reduced from 10 to 5, so there's a nerf there overall for Mass Dispel. Prayer of Healing cast time reduced to around reduced about 0.5 seconds. On my live client, it was showing at around 2.31 seconds, and here I believe that it is showing about, if I can even find where it is, here it is. It is showing 1.87 seconds. So there is a buff there in terms of the cast times. However, there is a nerf in its range. It will now only heal injured allies within 20 yards of the target as opposed to 30. So there's a nerf there. You're going to have to be careful about your placement of your Prayer of Healing because it's going to cost some mana on you. Prayer of Mending has been changed. Its cooldown has been increased from 10, which is on the way it was on live, to 11.2 seconds. I'm not quite sure what's bringing it down here. As you can see in the tooltip in the bottom right hand corner, the cooldown's in green, so I'm not quite sure what's reducing it. But 11.2 seconds is the heal now. and the first bounce will no longer heal for an additional 60%, so that's something you should know there. Renew has been only slightly changed. It now lasts for 15 seconds, up from 12 seconds. If you're thinking, hey, this is still the same, that's because an enhancement was given to you in Warlords of Draenor as you leveled up that basically said your Renew lasts 3 seconds longer. That's now baseline. Lastly, the last change is that Smite now has a 20% chance to reset the cooldown on Holy Fire. So in addition to Holy Nova, you now have Smite, which is also able to reset the cooldown on Holy Fire, which plays into the whole, as I mentioned, trying to give healers more DPS so that they can actually level with a little bit more consistency and have an easier time leveling than they have in the past. So with that, we have 4 new abilities to go over as a Holy Priest. Really not much has changed. I think the biggest change is that you're moving away from, a circle of healing and the chakra stances, and instead you're really focusing on the holy words and the big new ability here at the end that we will take a look at. So Holy Nova is the new one. Know that Holy Nova no longer deals any healing. It's just straight causes an explosion of holy right around you, dealing 52,000 holy damage to all enemies within 12 yards. Has a 20% chance to reset the cooldown on holy fires if any targets are hit. Still works essentially the same. Same old Holy Nova. Mass Resurrection. This was once an ability available to everyone. This was once a guild ability. Then it became an ability available to everyone with that big debuff for like 10 minutes if it was used on you. Now the debuff has been removed, but it's only been given to healers. So every healer has their own version of Mass Resurrection. I believe for priests, they just got Mass Resurrection, whereas the others got different named abilities, but they do the same thing. It revives everyone in your raid within the area. Mind Control has now become baseline for a Holy Priest. Controls a mind up to 1 level above yours for 30 seconds. Does not work versus mechanical beings. Shares diminishing returns with other disorienting effects. So there's that there. And then lastly, new ability Serendipity. I know in the removed abilities I said Serendipity was gone. However, the ability Serendipity is gone. Its name is the only thing that was only retained. So I need to read this tooltip. And when I read this tooltip, you will, I believe, finally understand how a Holy Priest is going to work. Serendipity. When you cast Flash Heal or Heal, the remaining cooldown on your Holy Word Serenity is reduced by 6 seconds. When you cast Prayer of Healing, the remaining cooldown on your Holy Word Sanctify is reduced by 6 seconds. When you cast Smite, the remaining cooldown on your Holy Word Chastise is reduced by 6 seconds. When you cast Binding Heal, so the talent, the remaining cooldowns on Holy Word Serenity and Holy Word Sanctify are reduced by 3 seconds each. So Serendipity, and when you tie it in with your new Holy Words, everything is built around reducing the cooldowns on those holy words so that you can use them as much as possible in situations that you may need to use them. So if I go ahead and burn the time on Holy Word Sanctify, we'll go ahead and use this right here, instant cast, and then I'm going to start spamming Prayer of Healing, and you'll see just chunks of my Holy Word Sanctify coming back to me very quickly. And all of a sudden I have it back, and I have a nice big instant heal again. That is how Holy Priest has changed. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not an expert on Holy Priest. It is one of the... It really is the only... Priest is one of the... Priest as a whole is really the one healing class that I've really not gotten into. I've gotten into every single other healing class except for Holy Priest and Disc Priest for that matter, but Disc is completely different now. Holy Priest, I tried at one point a long time ago when I had my Priest, and I loved having my instant cast Prayer of Mending, and when I lost my instant cast Prayer of Mending, it was like a dagger to the heart. It hurt. I'm not gonna lie. That was my favorite part of Priest, was Prayer of Mending. When it was taken away from me like that, I no longer was really excited about being a Holy Priest. However, You still have Prayer of Mending, Prayer of Healing, but now instead of using Circle of Healing and using Light Well and switching between your chakras based on whether you needed to do raid healing or you needed to do some more single target healing, you instead will still be relying on Renew and so forth. However, using your single target heals and so forth will reduce the cooldown on your big single target heal, and then redoing your using your AoE heal reduce the cooldown on your major AoE heal, and then same thing with the damage. So basically it's all tied in and around Serendipity. Echo of Light still functions exactly the same, so not much has changed there. So with that, that is everything for the abilities for Holy Priest. So let's go ahead and take a look at the artifact weapon of Holy Priest. First we will look at the ability you get, which is the Light of Tuir. Oh my gosh. How do you even pronounce this? The Light of Tuir. Tuir. I give up. That you guys pronounce it the way you want. I'm going to go with Light of Tuir. 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 I like that better. Applies the Light of the Naru to the target, healing 88,000 and increasing all healing you do to that target by 25% for 10 seconds. Maximum of 2 charges. I'll go ahead and use it here on this target. And you can see there I kind of lift my staff in triumph, and then I can start healing either with that or with flash heal or regular heal, and just heal them up as quickly as possible. And as you've noticed in the bottom right hand corner, if you look at my tooltips, as I mentioned before, this is the very last remnants of the triple healing system. A fast but expensive heal that heals a fast but expensive spell that heals an ally for 127,000, or a slow but efficient heal that heals an ally for 127,000. So it's still there, just a little bit, but honestly, that's kind of a dead system. That's the last remnants of it. So that is your artifact weapon. Remember, you have 2 charges of it. You can press Renew on the target, and you go to town healing them with whatever means necessary, and it'll be increased by 25%. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at the artifact tree. You will always start here, which is where Invoke the Naru. So, do know that your first ability actually is not it's a passive. It's actually not going to be the active ability that we got. That'll come later in the tree. First, you will get Invoke the Naru. When you use a Holy Word spell, you have a chance to summon an image of Tuir at your side for 15 seconds. Whenever you cast a spell, Tuir will cast a similar spell. What does this sound like? This sounds very much like Summon Jade Serpent Totem, or Pillar, or whatever it is that Mistweavers have. Very similar. Let's go ahead and just once again burn all these and see if we can get one of them to show up again. There he is. That is what this passive is right here. Tuir, however you pronounce it. He's going to show up there, and he's going to continue to heal you, heal your friends just like you heal. So, I mean, I put a heal on this person, and this guy decided to heal this other training dummy to the right-hand side. So, that's your first ability. So let's go ahead and go through Tuir, Tuir, the Beacon of the Naru. I'm really not liking these Naru names. I cannot pronounce them at all. That is your artifact weapon. Let me zoom in here just so you can actually see what it looks like. Get rid of this. You can see what it looks like. In my opinion, probably the least impressive of the priest weapons. I really like the stained glass disc priest weapon. I have not seen the shadow weapon in a while, but it's pretty nice. But I don't think it's probably not the best of them in my opinion. But let's go ahead and go through all of these talents so you can see what you get out of this. First is going to be Follower of the Light, increases healing done by 5%. We'll be going from the southeast corner to the northwest corner, by the way. Then we have Holy Guidance, increases healing done by Prayer of Healing by 12%. That's going to be about 4% per stack. Holy Hands, increases the healing done by Renew by 15%, 5% per stack. We have Trust in the Light, Leap of Faith, heals the target for 15% of maximum health over 6 seconds. I believe that'll be 5% per stack. We have a Focus in the Light. While Focused Will is active, Holy Fire and Holy Word Chastise reduce the target's movement speed by 30% and increase your movement speed by 30%. So that's kind of, an escapability option. And if you have forgotten what Focused Will is, melee attacks against you cause you to gain Focused Will, reducing damage you take by 15% for 8 seconds, stacking up to 2 times. So if someone's up in your grill, you now have a way to slow them and then increase your movement speed to get away from them. There's Reverence, increases the healing done by Flash Heal by 15%, 5% per stack. Here we have Light of Tour. This will be the actual ability that you get. So if you want this ability, you're going to want to go this bottom route here with Follower of the Light, Holy Guidance, Trust in Light, and Serenity Now just to get to this one. We have Renew the Faith. While Divine Hymn is active, Prayer of Mending jumps to a new target every 0.9 seconds without consuming any charges. That's interesting. I'm not quite sure how that works. Let's try this. Let's see. I'm not gonna be able to. Let's see. I'll cast it on myself, and then we'll use Divine Hymn. And did it jump? It didn't jump at all. So that's most likely due to me actually having That's due to me dealing with training dummies here. But that's something to look out for. While Divine Hymn is active, Prayer of Mending jumps to a new target every 0.9 seconds without consuming any charges. So that really spreads out your Prayer of Mending all over the place. You have Words of Healing, increases the healing done by Holy Word spells by 10%. So those are your 3 big heals, your Holy Word spells. Your Holy Word Chastise, which doesn't really do any healing. Your Holy Word Sanctify, and your Holy Word Serenity. You have Serenity Now, increases the critical strike chance of Holy Word Serenity by 15%, 5 per rank. You have Say Your Prayers. Prayer of Mending has a 20% chance to not consume a charge when it jumps to a new target. You have Power of the Naru. Oddly enough, is rank 1 of 3. Casting Holy Word Sanctify increases your healing done by Prayer of Healing by 6% by 15 seconds. This says 1, however it says 3 ranks. I'm going to take a guess that this is actually only going to be 1 rank, and it's just 6%. It could be 3 ranks of 2%, but I'm going to take a guess that it's just 6% flat with only 1. I could be wrong though. So, little bug here. Hopefully Blizzard will get it fixed in time. But casting Holy Word Sanctify increases the healing done by Prayer of Healing by 6% for 15 seconds. So remember, Prayer of Healing gets you more Holy Word Sanctify, or gets you Holy Word Sanctify back up really quickly. There's Hallowed Ground, reduces the cooldown of Holy Word Sanctify by 10 seconds. So originally it's going to be a minute, and then it's reduced to 50 seconds. So the actual nerf to that ability is actually from 40 seconds to a minute, but your talent brings it down to 50. Your last epic item here is going to be Blessing of Tuir. I can't stand that name. Critical heals with Heal or Flash Heal have a chance to imbue you with the essence of Tuir, increasing all healing you do by 20% for 12 seconds. A nice passive to have there. And then lastly, we have Holy Mending. When Prayer of Mending jumps to a target affected by your Renew, that target is instantly healed for 33,000. And then we have Guardian of Light. Guardian Spirit summons an additional spirit to watch over you. That's very useful to have. So now when Guardian Spirit's used on someone else, you actually have one on yourself as well. So that's actually pretty nice to have. As you can see, I have it here on the training target dummy, and I have it on myself, so that's actually pretty cool. So that is the entire talent tree. It's very possible that this actually is supposed to be 2 ranks, because I'm just now looking at the top left-hand corner. 34 is supposed to be max in terms of total ranks, and this is the first time that I've not seen it at 34 ranks. So this one at the bottom could very well be an increase of healing by 18%, or it could be a typo and it's supposed to be 2% per rank and it's just bugged out. So I'm I'm not sure what that's going to be. I'm sure that will be in a bug fix really soon. They are in that phase of bug fixing and changing talents around for that issue. So, that's everything for a Holy Priest's ability and artifact weapon. In the next video, we will take a look at the PvE and PvP talent. I will tell you, there is a PvP talent that really makes me happy, that I'm really excited about, and maybe I'll consider, dusting off the old Holy Priest and trying him again in PvP, just because of this talent, just because I love it so much. But otherwise, that's everything for the abilities and the artifact weapon, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Tearless out.